theme song. Hello and welcome back to Ryan and Joel Lean In. I am Joel Cooper.
I am Ryan Crabtree.
And this is episode 7 of the podcast. We're very excited today because we have our very first guest on the show. So please put your hands together and welcome our guest. Woo! You!
He seems to be crawling on the floor. This
episode is brought to you by you guys, the subscribers. We hope you're having. He's overshot his seat.
Oh, hang on, a bit further back, and you nearly.
Hey man, how you doing, boys?
Hello, Seb. This is Sebastian Szeszeran.
That's me.
Known as Seb, our good friend.
Please.
That we've known for many years. I believe did you come to our school in grade 2?
Year 2.
Year 2.
Year 2.
And then Ryan joined our school in year 7?
Year 7.
So he came for high school, missed all like the memory building, and just came for the
all the memory building. No, I don't remember anything from year 7.
They were just leftovers of memories.
I don't remember.
It was just work.
It was as soon as we like got our locks for our locker, it's black. I don't remember anything else.
Prison.
That was actually kind of traumatic. Those locks still give me anxiety. But anyway,
I still remember my brother helped Griffin with his lock on the very first day because the year 11 lockers were like right next to the year 7. Probably for a reason, because like 75% of the year 7s.
Yeah.
Way to come on the podcast and call someone out.
I mean, you want to start again?
No, I think we have. This is great.
Who's that? Yeah. So, hey guys.
Welcome, Seb.
Thank you.
Seb.
So, tell us a bit about yourself. What are you up to these days? What do you do?
Well, how'd you introduce me? I wasn't listening.
I don't think I've said anything. I just said we know you. You're a dude we know.
Yeah, I'm a dude you know. Okay. Well, you guys are dudes that I know, and
It's pretty hectic.
And if you look right here, I'm all confused. This one right here, that's Beat. That is a film that is coming out very soon by Jye Currie, who is a very talented man in the director's seat for that film, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it. Yeah.
As an actor.
As an actor in one of the lead roles, which is very exciting.
You're like one of the cool people involved with like projects, because like and then I'm like one of those like basement dwelling like pretend VFX artists that like don't have like any esteem.
What is this? Visual effects.
Oh, visual effects. Thank you for pointing out my work for once instead of the bad stuff.
You're welcome. Nah, man.
Well, how'd you find it, Seb? How'd you find it being, full-on production like that and film like that?
That is a huge question.
I know.
We only ask the big questions.
Only the big questions.
In podcast.
Well, working with Jye was fantastic. Like, I knew him through uni, so I was still am studying, filmmaking at uni, and he's a couple years ahead of me, and I was lucky enough through connections, like he made Victim, a short film that you both have seen, which did really well.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he made that, and I got the role in that because his supervisor for his honours project was one of my tutors for one of my classes, and she happened to know that I'd done some acting in the past. Like, I hadn't done any acting for like 3 years. Like, I sort of was like, oh, look, probably won't happen. I'll study film instead, which was really good because it's actually awesome seeing the other side of the camera, and seeing how much work everyone puts in.
So you were quite familiar with just being on camera.
Yeah. Like you get comfortable with with waiting around and going, when's it my turn to be in the shining light? But when you start studying film, you realize, wow, everyone has a crucial. There's like 20 people, 25 people running around all over the place, and you're like, what are they even doing? But when you study film, you really come to have an appreciation of how much hard work gets put in by everyone on set.
Not the stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So at the start, were you more like the first time you ever did something like this, were you just like, oh, it's all about me? Like they said get here at 9 and they're not ready for me.
I think the first acting role I ever did, it was in a short film. It was funded by Screen Australia. It was an extras role. It wasn't even an acting role.
Did you get to do something cool in it though?
Well, I got to. There was
do anything?
The main character falls over. We were in gym class at school. The main actor falls over, and I was lucky enough. There was we're all whole classroom, and the director picked me out to hey, can you come over and look worried and look at it? And I was like, yes, I'm gonna make it.
Yes, I'm gonna look worried. Oh.
Were you like, I'm so ready for this moment? I've trained my whole life for this.
All these years of training is paying off. Yeah, man. So I have had experience on the sets and stuff like that before, but that sort of first time, because it was a paid role as well, because it's funded by Screen Australia, and so even the extras were getting paid and everything. And I rocked up and I was so excited, and for 3.5 hours, we didn't do anything in front of the camera. We were just sitting around eating toast, because we got there at 6 a.m. It was in Sydney, and we got there at 6 a.m. and me and the other extras, I hit it off with one of the other blokes there, and we were just chatting, and 2 hours in, we're like, are we getting paid to sit and eat toast and chat? Well. That was awesome. But yeah, so that was probably, I was 15 or something when I did that. But
what made you want to become? I actually remember when you were when it
sparked.
Yeah, when it sparked. That's sort of
I remember
because you were always kind of an actor. But seriously, throughout
through
school,
my whole life,
man would be like, does anyone want to recreate this for the class? And everyone was like, Sam.
Yes, yes, I will. I remember literally the other day I went back to school, and I saw one of our old teachers, and we had a chat, and as he was leaving, he turned around, because I told him about the film and everything, and he was like, oh, that's awesome. And then he turns around and goes, I will always remember Bungonia Batman.
That was awesome.
Yes, even the teachers remember that. That was so good. That's actually a good story. Now, I want you guys to tell your perspective of what happened but can you remember?
Bungonia.
Yeah, with me and Justin. Justin was Bane and I was Batman, and we stormed the castle.
I've got to be fully
You don't
honest.
remember
I remember I remember you being Batman. But I couldn't tell you the substance of whatever happened.
Yeah.
So maybe because it's so within you.
This is so upsetting.
For you, it wasn't a performance for you. It was part of your life.
That's true. I've been Batman. I spent $130 on that Batman costume, and everyone was like, "Why would you spend that much money?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna get the use out of it." And I've used it at least 10 times since. So I think I've got the wear out of it. I think I've got the wear out of it. Anyway, do you want to know what happened now?
Yeah, give us a summary, because I have glimpses of memory.
Well, so me and Justin, we were we had our costumes ago. We got to use these at some point. Anyway, the general gist is we're in that little foyer thing with all the seats and stuff where we'd have our group meetings and whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then Bane storms in and is like, all right, everybody, give me your wallets. And then we had someone he was going down and taking everyone's wallets. And then I burst in as Batman. I'm like, Bane. And then so I run up to the thing. We choreographed a fight. There was all of this it was so good.
Was anybody filming that? I swear somebody was filming
that. Somebody was, and then Justin tried to follow up, and we haven't found it.
I reckon it was a teacher.
I don't know. It was one of... I don't want to say her name. I think I remember who, but like I don't want to call anybody out. You know what I'm saying?
But essentially, if anyone is watching this and has the footage,
or remembers, like these two don't.
I remember the fight. It just shows I'm a fight guy because I like remember you two like throwing hands. That's all I remember.
Honestly, like we did the full on. Like he would do the uppercut into my gut, and I would jump up. Like he was super strong, so I'd be like, oh, and I like jump up as it was awesome. And then there was like this one bit that was supposed to be hilarious where the music would start pumping, and it was like we're friends now, and then we like dance. And the music was supposed to start. Batman film, one of the teachers that we had, we were like, all right, you gotta understand, like we need this music. This is your one job. Like this is your one. And he's like, yeah, I got you. Don't even worry about it. And as soon as he knew exactly when to do it, and he did press it, but we didn't test the volume beforehand, so the music like was either coming out of his phone or something. So like me and Justin like up there dancing in front of everyone. They're like, what? Where did that come from? Anyway, yeah. So the special part about that was me and Justin come up with all like 10 minutes worth of material, choreographed fight. We knew all the words, like we blocked it out, like all of our actions from go to woe in like 45 minutes. And then one of our friends, because like we ran off because it was like an hour beforehand, we were like, let's do this. Went and checked with the teacher. They were like, yeah, sick, you can do that. And then we were like, oh, we have like 40 minutes before we can like do this performance. And then so we ran into the bush, like didn't tell anyone where we were going because we wanted it to be secret. And then I just remember one of our friends was like, when we came back, he was like, oi, what were you doing? He like took it and he's like, I'm being dead set serious. Where were you? And I'm like, oh, no, nowhere. Because we were lying because we didn't want to tell him what we were going to do. We didn't want to tell him that we are going to be Bane and Batman. He's like, you guys doing drugs? You're doing and you're not telling me? Like, no. We're in year 9. You guys are doing drugs without me?
Oh, bro, get me involved.
It's funny the insult. Like back then of like not sharing like the tiniest thing with your friend.
Yeah,
like where have you been for lunch?
Why do you hate me?
Were you with another friend? Were you playing a sport that I wasn't invited to?
Oh man!
But so what you're saying is your passion for performance. It doesn't need to be any coin behind it. It just happens.
I just love it, dude. I love it, and it is true though. Like bring it to a more serious note, I guess. It is true. Like what you're saying, it's like funny and everything, but. It is, yeah. It's sort of always been there, but I never thought it could be sort of a possibility, like a career possibility for me.
Cool.
But I have a quick story of how I actually wanted to become. I'll tell you the short version because I've told the long version before. And anyway, so
it gets crazy.
There's a lot to it. I
don't know, dude. Because it was dead set. It was a dream, right? I remember coming to school and telling everyone about it. Well, some people about it. I had a dream. Joey, so Matt LeBlanc from Friends, right? This is in the dream. He came to our school and everyone was calling him like, hey, Joey, Joey, Joey. And I knew his real name, Matt. And I was like, yo, Matt, how you doing, man? And then so for the rest of the dream, we were hanging out. At the end of the dream, like I essentially had an acting role. He's like, yeah, I got a movie coming up. You can be in it. It'd be sweet. And I'm like, yes, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me. Like within the context of my life at the moment, at that point, I was like, yeah, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it was. Like, had no real thought that acting was everything that I could ever do, and I was at the end of this dream, I was like the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Really? I was like, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I can't believe that my dreams have come true, even though I was in a dream. And I was like, I never knew that I wanted this. And now my life is set and I'm going to be living the dream. And then I woke up in bed as a child that's in year 9 going, I don't have... my dreams haven't come true. Like, and then from that, literally, I was so devastated that that's not what was happening for me, that it made me realize, wow, I want to pursue this.
Cool.
Which is pretty crazy.
Dream and more of like a a vision.
Like a vision.
A message.
I mean,
not from the deep. Don't. Not stop.
Dune is the best movie to ever release ever.
Dune.
June.
The month of June is the best movie.
Well, every time I'm in it, I'm in a movie.
I swear, this man can't just stop talking about it. Anyway, we're not talking. We'll do a movie review, and you can. It'll probably be like an hour and a half, knowing Ryan.
It's the whole
Yeah.
movie.
I'll have
I'll
5
do a
minutes to
commentary.
say about the film, and he'll have like.
I'll
an
do a
hour.
whole commentary. Stuff it. Let's do it.
You record it and just send it to me, and I'll upload it. Oh, I didn't be in it.
Content.
Content.
Yeah.
Imagine like doing things for content. Anyway,
That'd be so funny.
let's move on from that. So
yeah.
the early days,
early
you're
days.
finding your passion. You're like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So was that extra thing the very first time you'd ever?
Yeah,
ventured?
so sort of, yeah, that was like the first role that I landed, sort of thing. I was on this website where you can upload like different pictures of yourself and like your bio and like what you're interested in.
Star
And,
something.
yeah.
What's it called?
Nothing. It's not called anything.
Okay,
Actually,
are you still on it? Are you still on
No,
it?
I think I've deactivated my account. I can't remember. So we'll just leave that.
Okay.
You do some research.
It's called Steam.
Steam.
Move on.
Steam.
Find it on Steam.
Discord. What was the question?
That was your first. You were saying. that
Yeah,
was your first thing.
so like after that dream, I went down and told Mum because I was actually super emotional about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is what I need to do with my life. And she was like, all right, you can go to acting classes because like you can't be an actor without acting class, like knowing your craft.
Yeah.
It's like I want to be a carpenter, but I don't want to learn how to use any tools. I just want to do it.
YouTube is there. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so you're half of the actors in Hollywood then?
Oh,
Without training
all of
or-
them.
Nah, nothing.
There was
was a
someone I
joke.
met when I was in New York, and he was like, "There's 9 million actors in New York, and never mind. I can't remember what the punchline was. So never mind. I can't remember.
Wait, is it just to do with like? It's just
to do with like literally, everyone.
So you used that Steam service to find that extra role.
to find that role, and then I've done a lot of like theater with school, and like I moved because the school that we were at didn't offer drama for the HSC, which is why I moved for year 11 and 12, just because I was like, yeah, I need to do acting. And which is what I did. I got into HSPA, which is an acting school in Newcastle, or performing arts selective school in Newcastle, which was exciting at the time. Then I realised it was just like any other school.
Wait, really? Like what?
Well, yeah, it was like I don't want to bag down the school. It's a good school. I
just
didn't
thought it'd be more
I
specific.
didn't necessarily enjoy it the most of all time. Like I would have rather just Avondale offer drama for HSC.
True,
That would have been
true.
much better option. But I mean, I met my lady friend at HSPA. So what can I say? That was definitely
given?
worth it. No, never mind. I won't flex.
Yeah, don't flex
on
like
you.
Ryan that you have a relationship.
Yeah, Ryan.
I don't even
Ryan with a relationship.
That's
with anyone.
hilarious.
He talked about it so much in one of those episodes. I put it in the thumbnail. Ryan has a girlfriend. I
Ryan
just put
has
it in
a
the thumbnail.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I can one up Ryan. I have a fiance. Oh.
See, I thought the one up was going to be more like I have multiple.
I have 7 girls.
Wait a second.
Your missus watches this. Is like.
Just like, hang on a minute. She'd be like, yeah, I knew that.
So you did we had the extra role. Where did you go from there after that?
A few more, mainly like within the film industry, mainly extra roles and stuff. A couple music videos. Then it came featured extra roles, but nothing really, like nothing was taking off, sort of thing. And then it came to the point where school was over, and it was like, what do you want to do? Like you have you have people that you love in Newcastle here. You have potential, like I was with my fiance. I was just sort of started dating her at that time. We started dating in year 12, and it was like I saw a lot of potential and amazingness that could come from that relationship. But I thought if I move to Sydney and go to acting school, I'll have to dedicate my whole life to that. People are more important to me. Like I didn't want to throw everything away for the possibility of something that might come to fruition.
Just for career choice.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was like I would rather focus on my relationships, but still do something within the industry. Which is why I started doing comms at Newcastle, majoring in film media production, so filmmaking. Because that was sort of a way that I'm still working towards that goal, just not through the conventional path, rather than, it was more, and it was giving me a broader range of knowledge as well, for being on set. And I think it's helped me as an actor to learn all of the other roles as well. Which is pretty cool.
How is it for you? Like, just you're on this journey, right? Of this acting journey. I guess it never ends. But,
not wrong. It's like one of the jobs you can do pretty much until you can't talk anymore.
That's right. But like, how is it for you on this path? Like, following this path?
Well, look, man. Like the first year of uni, I was just loving it because I made my own films and I was involved in a lot of different projects with like not being a performer, like being a part of the team. And behind the camera, and it was awesome. I was frothing it, and I sort of accepted the fact that I was like, look, there may never be another acting role that comes to me ever. And I was okay with that. I was happy to move on, essentially, which is why I hadn't done acting in so long, like anything really. And then the opportunity came up to be in this short film with Jye. So Jye directed Victim, who directed Beat as well. And it was just out of the blue. Like, because of the connections that I told you about before, I just woke up to a message from him. It was like, hey man, I'm from Newcastle, I'm doing this short film, do you want to be in this movie? And I was like, just hold up. And he's like, I sent him a message back. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really interested. He's like, can I give you a call? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And then half an hour later, like, I'm on the phone with him. He's told me about the story and everything. And I'm on the phone and I'm like, so do you want me to audition or like what? What's going on here? He's like, oh no, you've got the role if you want it.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
So he'd already decided you were right.
Well, yeah, and it was like just a very fortunate turn of events for me. For him, it would have been so stressful because he had two dudes lined up with agents in Sydney and everything, and they both fell through last minute. Whoa, and so he had like, I think it was 2 days until it was doing a table read with all the actors, and he had nobody for one of the main roles. And so he was talking to his supervisor and was like, look, do you know anyone? And then she was like, oh yeah, there's this guy in my class, I've seen that he's pretty good, why don't you just give him a shot? And it was as easy as that. And then he contacted me, and then the rest is history. Now we're here, where we are now.
And I guess he would see you, especially for Victim, your first one, as like an asset because you want to prove yourself. Like you've got a fire in your belly where someone from Sydney might be just looking
it's
at
just like paycheck. This, and the thing is as well, like I did end up getting, he was nice enough to pay me for the hours that I worked, I guess, on Victim, which was fantastic because I accepted the role thinking I wasn't going to get anything. I just wanted it for the experience because it would have been, it was the biggest role I'd ever had to date anyway. Whether money or not, I didn't care. He only told me afterwards, he's like, oh look, I just want to, you've done a really good job. I want to like commend you for that and everything. and it was crazy. Like, and like being on set with him and everything, he has it's such a good environment. Like everything that all the people that he brings around him as well. So, all of the sound guys and the runners and just everyone on set. Like there's so many people running around all over the place. Cinematographer, like just different people doing different things, all for a certain cause.
And pretty invisible. Like most people.
Yeah, they're just like running it. But if they weren't there, the end product wouldn't be the same.
100%.
Because like even I was talking to the driver of Beat, and I was like, well, look, if you weren't here, like if the driver wasn't here, like a lot of people say he had nothing to do with the film. Like, not true at all. If he wasn't there, that responsibility would go to somebody else.
And probably on a project like this, like Jye would probably be like, "Oh, I have to drive as well. I've got to create this story. I've got to make everything happen, and now I've got to drive a car." And then he's distracted from what he should be doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even with Victim, like it was a massive step up from because we actually had like Victim was sort of all off his own back. But we actually had funding for Beat, and it's not one step up, it's many steps up. To be honest, it's a full on production where Jye was the director and solely the director, whereas in Victim he was director, cinematographer. He was like it was just a very small crew, very like we all work together to make this happen. We're all like just all the roles sort of mesh together.
You've made it when you can not just list yourself over or feel like there are no credits because he did everything.
Exactly.
And then there's that like, should I give myself credit or should it just say a Jye Currie film at the start and then nothing
and then
else?
That's it. And it's crazy, man, because we had for Beat we have award-winning French pianist to come in and help with the score and the piano pieces, and then we have a proper full-on film composer that's come in and working on it, and he actually did the score for Victim as well. Sid, cool. Shout out to Sid, legend.
And he's working on that right now, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's finalizing the score for it, because there was original piano pieces that are a part of the film as its entirety, and then now we're just it's in the final stages. I'm very excited to see it.
Me too.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
What kind of release are we looking at? Like a limited theatrical, and then or like select? How does it? Is it different post-COVID?
There's so many different things that he can, like. It's all out of my hands, obviously. Like it's been all out of my hands since I stopped shooting. But catching up with him and stuff, there's so many different ways that it can go. Like you can have a theatrical release, but there's not, especially post-COVID, there's no one. Well, there are still people going to cinemas, but not like there used to be.
Way less foot traffic.
Yeah, and so like what anyone wants, especially when you're an upcoming filmmaker, you want to be able to make your next film. You want it to be bigger and better. Yeah, exactly. You need it to be, and unfortunately, these things need finance. So it's now that it's done and that the passion project is complete. Now it's about how do we make the most money from that. It's not like it wasn't like that from the start. It was like, all right, how are we going to make the most money from this movie? Like we're got to appeal to this and appeal to that. He's like, no, he wrote it. Jye's writer director, so he wrote it. It's a fantastic script, and he's just it's an art piece. I don't know. It's awesome, and
to be a part of that art is like,
dude, he actually had me over the other day and he showed me the trailer that's not out yet.
Oh, really? That's exciting.
And even seeing like my name pop up in the trailer, I'm like it like gave me goosebumps, just because I'm like, is this real life? Like, is this real life? It's so strange. And then there's one scene in it that he showed me that I'm in, and I guess we should probably jump into like sort of the role and the character and sort of what the movie's about as well. But they're
with a limitation on how much,
with how much I can say. I've already talked to him about it. I was like, look, can I say this? And he's like, yes. Can I say this? No.
Oh,
I'm
good.
like, all right.
I'm glad you had that conversation, because when I was texting you to go, like, can you come and talk about stuff?
Yeah.
I just went, make sure you don't get into trouble.
Gotta have those conversations. But where was I going?
Synopsis. What's the general vibe of this movie without like making me not want to watch it by telling me too much?
I think I actually did think about it before, and I was like, how can I what's something that I can say? So I think the best way to put it is the film follows two hyper talented pianists. Right,
Cool.
Classical pianists, living in two completely separate worlds. One of them, the story follows, is a homeless man trying to make a living on the street, with an electric piano that is lucky enough to be able to plug in somewhere so he can actually play and perform for people on the street. And the other character is a young girl coming up in the music industry. And essentially,
Is that the one we've got on the poster?
Yeah,
that's her.
That's her. Yeah,
So if you're watching the video version, the beat poster is above Seb there.
Yes.
Actually,
yeah,
looks
that's
awesome. The poster looks so.
When
the
he showed me,
lighting's
I was like, oh, that's mad. Yeah. That's and so it essentially highlights the crazy of the obvious differences of what it's like. You can have the same talent, but you're living in these two different worlds. But then it also shows some harsh similarities between the two as well. Okay. And it obviously deals with the themes of homelessness, the themes of fame, and it deals homelessness and fame are the two key.
It's almost
themes.
like two opposites, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it shows the stories parallel to each other, and there's some twists and turns and some crazy things that happen. But
I assume maybe the worlds collide.
Perhaps we're just gonna have to wait and find out.
Look, as long as this isn't Beat Part 1.
It's not Beat Part 1. No. We're not about that. We're not about that Disney life.
It's a good film.
I've missed the joke. Oh, is it Part 1?
June opens with the credits, and it's like June, and then slowly it like fades in. Part 1.
And because they couldn't finance the second one yet.
Oh yeah.
That's just how movie things are these days.
That's about the only reason I wouldn't watch your film, is if it was Part 1. It's about the
Part 2 is being made.
I don't care.
Part 1 of 1.
So is Beat like full feature length?
Full feature length.
Wow.
So I think it's about an hour and 40 something.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
There's like a minimum to make it theatrical, isn't it? It's like 80 something.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm not sure.
Minutes.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
That's a film.
Oh yeah, it's a full length feature film, which is why I still can't believe it's real life. That I'm in. Like when I'm sitting down with Jye and he's talking distribution to me, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so with Netflix, there's 9 different regions that you can sell to." I'm like,
You're talking about streaming?
Yeah.
Like, you mean people are actually going to
Global
watch this
release.
movie? Like,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know. It's still blowing my mind. Like,
Can
honestly
you reveal
still
anything
can't
about where it will
be
be watchable? Is it? Can you give us any?
Hopefully mainstream streaming services.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the plan. Obviously, we need to. Like, they need to be like, yeah, it's good, and
So
we want it
Daily
on our
Motion,
platform.
Cut Ryan's mic, please. Just cut his mic.
You're the one editing it.
Edit him out.
Am I? Wow, way to break the fourth wall. This was supposed to be like a really cool, like. Anyway,
This is really cool, bro. It is.
so full length. Is this Jye's first?
It's
full-length film?
Jye's first feature length film. Victim was not his first short film. I think it was his maybe third or fourth. Which I was lucky enough to be a part of. But so Victim actually went across the world through the film festival circuit. It got screened at 35 or 36 different festivals around the world, and won 11 awards. So like best short film best international short film was the title of the award for most of them. But like at the Florence Film Festival, and we got screened at like the Venice Film Festival and New York Internet. Like there was a lot. Like it was all over the place.
And the people that go to that are other filmmakers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And it was like that was blowing my mind at that time as well. Like we sent Victim to the first festival, like applied to it. I think we applied to like 15 at once, right? And it was less than 24 hours, and we were already accepted into one. Like he messaged me, he was like, "Dude, we're already accepted." And film festivals, like, they have a few months that they have, like, need to sift through films and watch them and see if they want to screen them or whatever. Less than 24 hours, like, "Hey, we're in." And I'm like, "What?" And it was like it was a Los Angeles, one of the film festivals over there. And I'm like, "Excuse me, what are you talking about?" And then the next day we got another one. I'm like, it was blowing my mind for a couple of months. My mind was being blown, honestly. But
it's a bit sad that Seb from Bungonia is now like, not just Seb from Bungonia, he's now like, he's
Seb
around Seb.
No.
He's not our Seb anymore.
I am. What do you mean? Can you unpack that for me, Joel?
Fame has
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
It's
he's not the same
head.
Seb that I used to know. But like, I remember seeing Victim and not knowing you were in Victim. So
Yeah, whoa.
so looking at it and going, "That's Seb."
Oh, yeah, what? Yeah, tell me.
I'm not going to
again.
reveal too many details about this story because it's a bit sus.
A little bit sus, but say it anyway.
It's a bit
I
sus,
think.
but I saw Seb's
We
film.
had a premiere at Hoyt's, which was cool because I got to see it on the big screen. That was crazy enough as it is.
I did not see it on the big screen. I saw it elsewhere. That's the end of the story. We're not telling you more of the story. But I literally didn't know you were in it, and then saw you and like pointed at the screen like, "That's Seb.
That's crazy.
That's my friend Seb from
What?
school."
That's so weird, man.
Because the person I was watching it with doesn't know you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was just like,
no.
this is a short film, and I was like, "Ah." So that's what
him.
you've become.
Yeah.
The person I can point to and be like, and honestly, like, I like in the best, like, I love you way, it takes me out of it just the slightest bit because I know you,
dude.
like,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
weird, it's
Yeah.
weird.
I'd say there was a couple of my co-workers, they watched it and they were like, I just couldn't concentrate the whole time. But then they said there was that one bit where I'm at the party and I snap at the party. Like a few of my co-workers were like, that was when you weren't you anymore. Which
that
which
took them, like, right back into it.
And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. This next one is going to be a bit crazy because I was 30 kilos lighter than I am now when I filmed it.
Yeah, you walking in today, I was like, man, Seb is fit.
Big boy. No, yeah, it was that was. Do we even have time to? How long have we been talking for?
I don't know, we're only 38 minutes in.
Oh, cool. You can
So-
see that far? I can't.
Yeah, Ryan,
I
every
think
time.
my eyes are
Yeah.
getting worse if I'm going to be 100%.
Every time
honest.
we're recording, I'm like, "Ryan, can you just confirm for me it says something?" And he has to like lean forward or
Just
put his
like-
glasses on.
Let me just pull me.
It just means my eyes are
are.
like, I'm close to deterioration. Like, I'm not
Wait.
quite there. You guys have already hit that.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
about to hit that. So can you reveal anything? Like, I don't know if I want to know, but I'm gonna ask the question anyway. Can you
Ask.
reveal anything about who you are in this film?
Well, like I said, I'm a homeless
Oh,
man.
you're that character.
Yeah, so that's the character
Interesting.
that I play. He's going through a tough time in life. Let's just say, but he's definitely admirable. He's gone through the ringer and is still pushing forward. Has hope and belief, which is it's crazy because living that life it can definitely get to you, and that's definitely shown.
Yeah, like
the harsh reality, like, because I think what will be hard to watch about it is that it's real. and people live like this every day. And so I had to get into the headspace of what is it like if I don't know when my next meal, where my next meal is coming from. How do you prepare for
that? Is like not experiencing, having ever experienced that?
Well, I think one thing is losing weight all wrong. So like I had 7 months to prepare for the role. This is while working and while at uni as well, which made it very tough, especially when it came to the pointy end. But I pretty much had in my mind, I need to lose as much weight as I can, and then leading up to it, when it's crunch time, I'm gonna restrict my diet a lot to to essentially not know when my next meal will be coming. Wow. And that came with a whole assortment of other issues for me, personal issues, because I mean, it's very hard to get into a place of like, I'm starving and I can't get any food, in comparison to I'm starving and I'm not going to let myself eat any food, but there's donuts in the cupboard.
Yeah, like incredible willpower.
Yeah, and look, and I was talking to Joel beforehand as well, is that it's impossible. I did not have you watch the film, and when I was losing the weight, like people at work, regulars that would come into the pub and everything, they would be like, oh my goodness, like you turn sideways, won't be able to see you, man. Like I need to take a leaf.
Why is that always like something people say? It's so, I think people think it means well. It's like, it's not.
Well, they were getting worried about me, and honestly, they should have been, because I was not in a good place for a long time. But I think, like that bad place didn't go to waste, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So like I wasn't just going through a horrible time to not put that into the character. So like I've experienced, like I said, like, so Emily would go to, my partner, she would go to night shift. She's a nurse. She'd go to night shift, and I'd be left in the house alone. And then I haven't had a proper meal. Like, I was not eating proper meals. I was restricting my diet. This is like getting to the pointy end. Look, there was a lot of things that I wish I would have done differently, but this is the way it happened. And I'm laying in bed, and then it's not just like it's not just, I'm a little bit hungry, I feel like Macca's. Like today, like it's not like, oh yeah, let's get Macca's. Oh, I probably shouldn't, but like, yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. It's if I get Macca's, I'm going to let everyone down, because I will be too fat for the role. And this is Jye's first movie. I'm going to let him down because I'm one of the main characters. I'm going to let everyone down. I'm going to let myself down. And the movie is going to do bad because I didn't do good enough.
So there was just heaps of pressure.
Yeah, and and then what would happen is I'd be laying down, and there was that pressure that I gave myself. There was no pressure from Jye's point of view. Yeah, he was like, "You're doing amazing, man!" Like, and like you just. He was helping me through it. He definitely helped me a lot, with some perspective and everything. But there's these times when I'm laying there, and the problem was I restricted my diet too early, and then so I had a far too extended period of time where my diet was like basically non-existent. And so I would have periods where I would crack. So I'm laying in bed, and then I'm literally, there was at one point, I walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, there's chocolate sitting in there, I slam the fridge because I'm like, no, can't do it. And then I like open the thing, there's chips in there, I'm like, no, I can't do it, slamming it. And then I don't eat it, and then like I crack, like it was Easter, there was chocolate. I like ate a whole Easter bunny, like a 200-gram bunny. I just like ate the whole thing, and I was like, and then I like ripped open the chips and like just started eating the chips, and then I like threw them away because I was so angry at myself, and then I was like going crazy. And when you get into that mode, like you are not in control of your body. I can't explain to you what it's like when like you're going through, like when you put that pressure on yourself, and then it's like, I can't eat, I can't, I've done it, stuff this, I'm going for it. And
Wow.
because your body is screaming at you, like in every fiber of your being, is like, you have to eat that or you're going to die. Like, that's what your body's yelling at you. Like, you're going to die. And then so I go crazy. And then after all that binge eating of like chips and chocolate and everything, I feel sick. I feel like I'm gonna vomit. Then I go on Uber Eats and order Macca's. Like, and then I eat all of that. And then I feel like horrible. Feel physically sick, but mentally even worse. Because it's like, I still have a month and a half. And I have 10 kilos to lose. And I've just eaten 5 days worth of calories in one sitting. And then you get on the scale and you're 4 kilos heavier than you were the day before. And you're like, well, now I need to be good. Which is a horrible way to look at it, being good and bad.
It's way more complicated.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I need to be good now, so I'm going to restrict my diet even further than I already had it.
And that's the slippery slope.
Yeah, and then so... Oh, man. Like, it's even tough to, like, bring it back up. Yeah, because this is... What really rocked me, and looking back on it, but also when I was going through it, is people go through that every single day of their life, and they don't have a movie that they're preparing for. It's
real life.
There's no end date to feeling that way.
Yeah, and they're not forcing themselves to not eat. They're just
they are, because they're putting all that pressure on themselves to look a certain way.
I was thinking like famine and like
that as well. Like in the first world problems. Well, that as well, absolutely.
Right,
yeah.
So like eating disorders
I suffered like I said, I was 30 kilos lighter than I am now. I got down to like 62 or something like that. Something crazy. 62 kilos. I was like skin and bone.
That's like junior high school weight.
Yeah, it was not good. And I would look in the mirror and I'd like suck in, and there's that you do see in the film, there's some cheeky little you get to see some things of how horrible, like how starving I am essentially. But I would look in the mirror and go, I'm too fat. Like I'm too big. And I was like 2 kilos off the lightest weight I was at. Like, I didn't see all the fat that I'd lost.
Yeah.
I saw
your
all
mind was seeing like this huge thing.
I've never, like, it's not like I was looking at myself and go, oh my goodness, I'm 300 kilos. Like, it's not like that. Yeah. But it was I'm not slim enough. Like, I'm not good enough. And the thing is, people like this they look in the mirror, and because of like social media and because of different like Instagram influencers and stuff, that they diet down and they dehydrate and they take a whole bunch of pictures with their ripped abs and stuff, and they take a whole bunch of pictures in different places with different clothes on and blah blah blah, and then post those 20 pictures on that one same day that they've dehydrated themselves for 2 days and starved themselves to make them look like that. And then with the perfect lighting and everything, and then they post 20 pictures once a week, so that's 20 weeks, and people think they look like that for half the year or year round or whatever, and it's like people go and exercise and wonder why they don't look like that, so they're looking in the mirror and go, oh my goodness, I'm not like dying, so I don't look perfect and I'm not good enough. So
how do you feel, like even like you said before, it was a bit more difficult, but like to even bring it out now, like talking about this stuff,
it brings it back. But I guess it's just the sad way to look at it is that there's people that feel this way all the time, and there's nothing that I can do about it. That makes me really upset, because it's the classic, like the trope, oh, love yourself, you're perfect, but there's actually merit to that. Like, honestly, stop trying to look like these like genetic masterpieces.
Greek gods.
Yeah, that are popular online. Like, stop trying to look like that. And like, but it's not that. But the thing is, it's not that simple. You can't just tell someone, no, stop wanting to look like that. It's like, oh yeah, okay, sorry, I didn't think of that.
You've done kind of the opposite thing, with you've slimmed down and made yourself
look
worse than looking at you now. Like, I'm interested to see the film because I really don't buy you being that character now. Looking at you now, like you're swole.
Well, I'm very excited for you to see. Like, you can see there's a couple of photos on my Instagram that you can see. Sort of, that doesn't really show much. Like, I grew up my hair and I grew out my beard and stuff, but I can't grow a beard, so it was really disgusting. But
well, I guess it suits the role.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like, and it was, yeah, man. So even seeing the trailer, and then I was saying it before, but Jye actually showed me one of the scenes, and it brought all of these emotions back.
Really?
Like, because I was so far in, and so there's this character on screen going through all of this stuff as a character, and I'm looking at him going, that's not me, because it looks nothing like me now. I'm going, that's not me, but it is, but it's not. But then the name of the character is Kevin. He's coming back up from inside of me, and all of these emotions are coming back.
A different self.
Like, like just this other person just is appearing inside of me as I'm watching. And it was just one little scene, like not the whole movie, nothing. It was just one little scene. And I was literally sitting there with Jye. Jye was like, oh yeah, do you like it? I'm sitting there, I literally started crying because it was so overwhelming. But it was a double whammy because it was also overwhelming because I just couldn't believe I was part of such an amazing production either. Yeah. So it was like this crazy, overwhelming mix of emotions, and I just sat there and just started crying. I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'm good. Yeah, it's a good movie, bro.
So there was that bit of like, I'm super proud of like just being a part of all this, but also like this is a really difficult time.
Man, it was like it was
the past there.
It was but I'm so glad that it paid off. Like, I look at it and go, this hard work paid off. Like, going through all of that pain and mental anguish and torment and everything that I did go through, which I could speak for hours on, which obviously we don't have time. But I took all of that and used that to create the perspective that my character has on the world. I used all of that pain and essentially injected it into how my character views the world. And what was crazy, we asked about preparation before. When we're a couple of weeks out, maybe even like a week and a half out, I actually went to the street in character. So in all my costume and everything, went to one of the main streets in Newcastle and just sat down and watched. And I was essentially looking at everyone through the eyes of my character. And I ended up, like, I got very resentful to a lot of people. Like, there was this one lady... that walked past with like bedazzled boots, right? And I always tell everyone I tell this to is like, I just remember those boots because they were so sparkly and they looked horrendous. Like, they were not fashionable at all. And I was just through the eyes of my character, I was like, you have enough money to buy bedazzled boots, and I don't have any money to find any food for myself. F you. Like how
did you actually belittle this woman?
No. In my head. In my head.
I just see you just being like,
Oi, who do you think you are?
Running on all fours.
No, yeah, man. It was tough. And then there was at one point that I had to go to the shops to buy some food, like just for Emily because she was at work or something, and we still got to live our lives. So I went to the shops to buy some food, and I literally just found myself It was actually after. It was the morning, the afternoon, the night before. Fire, I can't speak words. The night before, I actually went on a massive binge, and I actually purged afterwards. Made myself feel sick. I was vomiting. Things that you don't want to be.
Yeah.
And it rocked me like real hard. And then the next day I went to the shops, and there was like it was the baked goods section, and there was like everything was on sale. I swear everything was on sale.
The worst time to go to
it was like big things of cookies for like $2 and like a massive cake for like $5, and I'm like, why is no one buying this? Like, why is no one like?
And you put away the thing that's like it's cheap to make unhealthy food. You put away the thing that's like, if it was healthy, it wouldn't be this cheap.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and literally, I had this thought, and I remember talking to one of our other mates about it. But I had this thought when I was there, and I was like, how messed up is it that there is enough food in this shopping centre to feed everyone, and there is so much of it that there are people that can go, no, I don't want that, where I'm here and all I want is any of it, and I can't have it.
Yeah. And a lot of people are actually dissatisfied with what they
well,
eat.
yeah, absolutely. All of those things on sale in the Woolies bakery, they're not as good as like the proper bakery down the road. So I'm going to go and get the nice Lamingtons from the bakery down the road.
Or the butcher I like.
Yeah.
And not the Coles butcher.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and like you can talk about it and say like, yeah, that's so messed up and everything. But going through this experience, I've felt it on another level, and it made me real. It really rocked me. Like for a long time there, I was like, how am I going to enter back into normal life after I've felt this? Yeah. Like how am I going to go back and buy all these things and then say no to some things?
Yeah, you've seen like the pits.
Yeah,
stuff,
and
like, where do I go from here?
Or like letting your milk go sour, or letting the bread be moldy and putting it in the bin, and like, and
it's absolutely like it. And I never understood. So my grandmother survived through the war in Berlin in Germany, and she, a lot of us were like, "Oh, Grandma, why are you eating the apple core? That's disgusting." But people going through those times, they would eat the apple core because they need the extra sustenance from that.
Wow.
Like that, like they will eat everything because they have to, or they won't survive. Yeah. And
it's like leaving half of your burger on the plate. It's like that's not a thing if you have limited food or. Yeah,
it's and like honestly, the film does deal with, like, it touches on all of this. Like, or it's definitely, it has a very unique story with some very powerful themes, which is fantastic. Like what he's done with it is amazing, and like everything that we've been talking about today, would be able, once the film is released, we'd be able to watch this over again and be like, see, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, and that see this bit here, that's it.
Yeah.
We might also need to do
why I brought that up.
A discussion following a viewing of said film.
I'll be keen.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
I guess towards like the end of the hour, going through this for a deliberate process, you have an outcome, you have a goal.
Yeah.
But out of everything you kind of took away from that, have you got any advice for anyone who's naturally going through, like, without an outcome?
You've got to. I think the biggest thing is you've got to. There's a couple of things. One is you need to forgive yourself. You need to. Because you need to stop putting your expectations so high for yourself. You're giving yourself impossible goals. You're like, oh, I want to look like Chris Hemsworth, and if I don't, I'm not good enough.
And Chris Hemsworth next month.
Yeah, next month. Not in 10 years of consistent training with like steroid cycles and everything like that, and insanely crazy genetics. No, I want to look like him next month with just a little bit. And then you look in the mirror and you go, wow, I'm a fat piece of shit. And it's tough, bro. That was my one.
He's used his comedic swear word for the podcast. But you've talked to me a lot about, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you've said words to me to the effect of, it's more about process than it is about outcome. Is that where you would give advice on? I
think right, like if you enjoy exercise, do exercise. Like if you like eating, what I found. Look, it's hard. There's so many different things. But if you're someone that's struggling with this, obviously, first and foremost, please do your best to tell someone so you can get help. Because you can't do it on your own. When you try and do it on your own, you think you can do it all yourself, and then you try, and then you fail, and then you punish yourself for it. It is the worst cycle that anyone could ever find themselves in. And honestly, the biggest thing that I can say is you are good enough. Like, you are only good enough for how, like, you're good enough or bad enough or whatever for how you see yourself. Like, don't worry about anybody else. It's about, if you want to do exercise, don't compare yourself to Chris Hemsworth. Compare yourself to you. See, like, for me, I'm comparing myself to Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club and Christian Bale in The Machinist. So I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I don't look like that, so I'm too fat, right? Other people are going, I don't look like Chris. I don't look like Margot Robbie. I don't look like...
The model they follow on Instagram.
The model they follow on Instagram. I'm not good enough. But when you look back, and like I've been talking to Ryan about like tracking your progress and stuff, is when you look back, you go, wow, after 2 weeks, I'm a quarter of an inch less around the waist or whatever, but you do it for you, not for this image that you think other people and you think that you need for yourself. Like, do it if you want to, don't do it for external reasons. Do it to make yourself feel good. Do whatever makes you feel good. Like, if you're doing exercise because you feel like poo and you think that if you looking in the mirror and you're an inch smaller, that'll make you feel good. No, because when you get to an inch smaller, you're like, I want to be another inch smaller, and there's no end date. The end date is you saying, I'm good enough. And you are, everyone. You are good enough. Everyone is good enough. And yeah, as soon as you come to terms with who you are as a person and accept yourself for who you are, everything else will come forward. If you love yourself, then you'll be like, hey, maybe I will endeavor to make me feel better by doing exercise or by whatever. It's not a punishment, acceptance. It's a privilege to do exercise. Like there's people that have no legs and can't do exercise, or paraplegic, or they've injury. Yeah, like
or you don't have the resources to replenish yourself after you've done exercise.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Like it's like you just be who you are. Don't worry about what you look like. Like worry about being a nice person. And worry about like your relationships and like that's what's really important in life. Community. Like honestly, like do what makes you happy. And that doesn't mean like, I'm just going to do like not instant gratification. Do what you think will help you in the long run sort of thing. But like, obviously I'm not mastermind and I don't know all, but, love yourself.
And put 100%. Those people around you that support you. I don't want to I don't want to like create a massive discussion, but, and I don't want to go into anything you don't want to talk about. So but it must've been difficult for your partner to watch you go through that process.
Dude, we went through that process, bro. It wasn't me going through that process and her watching on. She was fully in the middle of it all. And I asked her to marry me after that experience because us getting through that experience together meant we can get through anything together. So, bing ding ding.
Speaking of exercise. Speaking of processes and
jump in.
You gotta do it, bro.
No, we're in the middle of an episode. I can't do it.
Get down and give me 20.
I'd really rather not. And off your advice, do what you enjoy. So I'm never exercising again.
Okay, well, don't then. I mean, it'd probably be good for you and make you feel a little bit better. But
Well, true. Makes you feel good after it.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
During it's
it.
pretty tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But, I think there's merit to also, like, getting through a tough situation. So,
The
like,
mental gain
yeah.
from exercise is like
Yeah, absolutely.
endorphins and all of that.
The endorphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But,
Well, we're just kind of running up on time here, so we'll wrap up
Absolutely.
this episode. But thank you so much for
Sweet.
being with us,
Yeah,
Seb.
no
Thank you,
worries.
Seb.
Thank you.
We're keen to
Pleasure being
see
here.
beats.
Pleasure being here.
We
Yeah.
will obviously plug the crap out of it on our Modest podcast when
We'll get,
when the
we'll
film
get
comes
some-
out.
Yes.
But yeah, go check out Seb. We'll put. Do you have socials that we could put in the description?
Yeah, at Sebastian_Szeszeran, and then at Jye Currie, legend. I don't think Alex Jensen, who is the main actress, has Instagram. I don't
do
think, but Sid Akia, I'll send you a whole bunch to plaster them on the screen.
Awesome.
Because everyone that's involved, and even Cody, who did the behind the scenes documentary as well. There's going to be a
wow,
documentary
cool,
too, which will be awesome. So definitely
love to see
we'll
that.
chuck that in as well. Yeah, just everyone. There's so many people that I can't even remember them all off the top of my head, but I would spend 10 minutes saying all their names. So
You can chuck me all their names and I'll put them in the description.
Cool.
And when it comes out, when the behind the scenes comes out, we'll chuck a link in here.
Sounds
Ho-
amazing.
hopefully, yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah,
So
sweet.
thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.